Hello and welcome to Credit B presents RCB Bold Diaries. It's that time of the year once again. It's time to build the class of 2023. Who's going to wear the red and gold of RCB? You know what? Inside right now, the men who matter. Deep in conversation, preparations underway as we get ready for the all-important auction of IPL 2023. So going to be chatting with Mike Hesson, Director of RCB. What does he have to say? Let's find out.
The whole idea of this, I'll call it pre-meeting really, is so we want to get to a point where we've got some outcomes heading into tomorrow.
Mike, thanks for chatting with us. Just like that, another IPL auction coming, your fourth one with RCB?
Yeah, it is. Everyone's been a little bit different. So obviously this one, the first one after a big auction that we were pretty much all part of. So slightly different dynamic this time.
In some sense, the bulk of the work was done in the mega auction last time around. You should be fairly happy with the fact that it could be a quieter auction for RCB this time around?
Yeah, look, we had to challenge ourselves and review around our squad, and that was probably more around the retention phase. So when we were comfortable with the number of players that we decided to retain, then that obviously meant that we weren't going to have the purse that we wanted, but we're very comfortable with the bulk of our squad. It's now just a matter of tweaking really, and tweaking in areas that not only give us cover, but also give us the ability to be a little bit more flexible. So that'll be the focus of this auction.
As far as the 18 members are retained, I know you and Sanjay spoke a lot about continuity and maintaining a core set of players. How important is that in a team going the distance from a long-term perspective, and it isn't short-sighted?
Yeah, look, when we, part of our scouting system as well, Marlo was part of that. So, we didn't pick players that we hadn't spent a lot of time looking at. And so therefore that's why the majority of players we've decided to back. And not all of them had fantastic IPLs, but we've identified something in those players that we think they either gave us good performances last year or we think that they're going to over the coming years. So, there's always a balance in your squad, players that are ready to go and players that we think are going to be really special, but they need a little bit more time. And that's why, as I said, we were pleased to get that level of continuity. Not everybody stayed, and that's fine. That you've got to have a level of attrition. But as I said, it's more about us looking at that now and just filling the gaps so we've got that bit of flexibility.
Just in continuation to what you just mentioned, over the last 3 seasons, 3 playoffs for RCB, what do you think has resulted in RCB being a little more predictable, a little more consistent with its performances?
Well, I think having that stable base from a support staff point of view is important. From a business point of view, or from a franchise perspective, I think we've been really stable around how we've operated, and that's given the players some stability as well. I think we've been really clear around how we want to play the game, and that provides players with some clarity. Therefore, that gives them the best chance of being successful. So, look, as I said, we're certainly still looking to improve as a side. We've made the playoffs. We haven't made the top 2 yet. And making the top 2, we know, gives yourself a far better chance of winning, and that's something that we're constantly going to strive to try and do, and that's why this auction is important. It's important not necessarily for marquee players, but for us to just a little bit of tweaking and a little bit of stability to some areas that can give us some flexibility.
I guess the results are there for everyone to see, and I know the preparation went in way back to come to where we are today. Even the IPL, it is for 2 months, but the planning starts way before. A lot of members of the think tank did catch up in Dubai a while ago. Tell us a little bit about what that was about.
Yeah, so we'd already confirmed our retention list, so we had a number of meetings leading up to that to make sure we were all comfortable with where we were at. And then it was a matter of getting key people together, coach and captain, obviously from a management point of view, from a scouting team point of view, and just looking at the way we want to play the game. And if we want to play that way, how do we structure our team? We also knew that there'd be likely potential changes with this impact rule, and that's also gives some different options in terms of how you might utilise the balance of your team. So we wanted to just talk through that, and it also it gave us a chance to get together and actually nut a few things out without the pressure of an auction. So we could challenge our own thinking. We could question, why we were seeing one player over another, and the rationale behind that. So it was a really valuable couple of days, and one that meant that the next 3 days leading up to the auction, we can be a little bit more direct.
I'm going to pick up one of those things that you did mention, the impact rule. I guess it's just going to change the dynamics of how the IPL is going to be played in some sense. How do you see this rule play out, and how do you plan for this from an auction perspective?
Oh, look, for us, we've got a well-balanced squad, so I guess because of that, you can use the impact player in whatever way you want. So, one of the challenges was, do we need to change our thinking because of it? And we don't think we do. We think we've got enough flexibility within our Indian players to be able to come in and add some options there. We might look for maybe one or two players at the auction who, if we come onto a certain surface, could give us the ability to change it up mid-game. So we'll certainly look at that. But it's more about, it's exactly that, it's more about adding impact. So therefore, in many ways, sometimes your all-rounders or your bits and pieces players probably aren't quite as valuable. You're able to add specialists in, but time will tell on that one.
Stay tuned, 12th Man Army. Lots more about Maxi's injury, excitement of coming back to the Chinnaswamy, and a little more from our Director of RCB, Mike Hesson, in part 2.